Ja, het is Nathan Besenti in the nan ist tachi ni nishle, it's na Jenny Bahastrin, okay dashache, it's jikin dashanella. Hello everyone, my name is Nathan Besenti.
My name is Peter Hall, and we are here to share the People's Oasis, our project, with you. Looking at Tuba City and the existing site conditions that are at Tuba, we had the opportunity to visit here in January of 2024. Looking at the existing site and especially the existing gym, we started to ask certain questions, such as the past, the present, and the future. What were they? The past, meaning what happened here, the present, the existing state of everything, and what was our imagined future for this project in this place.
On site stands this very monumental gym, accompanied by this mass concrete wall which stands sturdy for the community. But this is also accompanied by a playful mural that we would like to preserve in the project.
Looking at the existing state of Tuba, this is Main Street, and on the left side of your screen, you'll see a ridge in the back. But as you look around, you start to notice other things.
You see notions of the past, such as the boarding school in the background, but if you pay close attention, you may notice those stumps that align Main Street. This is Tuba City back in 1915. A geologist by the name of Herbert E. Gregory came and documented and called this the Oasis of Tuba. This here is showing what Tuba City used to be like. This is the Tuba City our great-grandparents knew. This is the Tuba City our grandparents grew up in. And seeing how can we revive this notion of community and gathering, have that spark of oasis come back. This is a cultural context map showing the surrounding area of Tuba. We have the blue, which represents where kind of Tuba City starts tapering in, and the green is the Tuba City center. This is accompanied by natural landscape monuments such as Tuba Butte and Castle Rock, which is accompanied down below by some cultural characters. The Sacred Mountains are pointed out in plan showing where they are located pertaining to the project because the Navajo culture seeks guidance from these mountains, but it is also accompanied by these haiku, which explain our project goals. When approaching the project, we have two notions, the community center as well as the chapter house. The community center, it's a break from reality. When I say break from reality, I mean that when you go to a community center, you're worried about what's happening on the inside. You're there for an event. You're there for a celebration. You're not worried about what's happening outside. Cultural teachings. This community centers around the reservations have different workshops for cultural needs, such as basket weaving, rugs. They teach you your language. They serve as a cultural emphasis for the community to revive back that lost culture. With the chapter house, it serves as a governmental monument. It serves the community and also provides a lifeline communication for the council chambers in Winter Rock, the Navajo Nation capital.
Looking at the last slide, as well as the slide before that, you saw our haiku. This one, building its own place, support to give and prosper, place for the people. What we talk about when we think about this haiku is the past, the present, and the future. What we want this place to be in the future. Building on this place, supporting this place, and becoming even more of a place for the people here.
Gathering takes place. Bring back the joy there once was. This time, the people. This community center was really emphasis and focus on the community. We have claims such as Elvis, but one thing for sure is Fats Domino performed in this gym. We want to have the sense of community gathering come back and bring back the joy there once was. But this time, we like to have the culture in mind and seeing how can we then implement those values and different teachings into our project.
From here, we look at flowing with the land, not to interrupt, nurture, peace will find its way. Water is such a big part of this site. Water goes down this site and goes through our project. What we want to do is we want to caress and we want to funnel this water through our project, thus reaffirming and thinking about this idea of oasis in our project. Looking at the site and also the form that we want to look at is the existing gym. From the existing gym, we get our programmatic blocks and the areas that we need for each of these programs.
The Navajo culture seeks guidance from sacred mountains, so in plan we thought to seek guidance from them to try and really work out our axes and where our directional events are happening.
From here, we want to recess, emulate, and imitate the existing form. The current gym has a slanted wall that goes up, and we wanted to look at that form as a precedent and how we got our form. From here, we look to capture the elements. We look to capture air, light, and water.
When looking at water, water is the strongest element. It can put out fires, wind can't really control it, and it can move earth. Why let us try and control water in our project? Instead, we would like to have that same notion of Totnan is a Tuba city, land of tangled water, having the water journey through our project. When water comes to our project, it flows like a lifeline. It revives the surrounding landscape, but then also immerses the user in a surrounding peaceful bliss garden.
Looking at our plan, we look at the existing gym. To the east of that, we have bathrooms, we have a new gym that's for workouts, and then storage to the south of that. When we flip through this diagram, think about this as a phasing diagram and how this could be built over time.
When going up north, we have the offices that help support the community as well as a multi-use space, which can open up to the courtyard. And in this space, we preserve the existing fireplace. But then this space is also accompanied and emphasized by this commercial kitchen will help support the different events that happen in this area. Going to the other side of the project, we have another really sturdy foundational point of the project. We have the chapter house, which is a place for meetings. And up north, we have the officials' offices, and this can then come down where you can pour straight into the meeting without any interruptions. We also have this accompanied by offices as well as storage spaces.
Going even farther down south, we have more offices. And to the north of these offices, you'll notice a little gray patch that comes into the building, as well as on the left side of the building, a gray patch that comes in. These are exterior courtyards that break into the interior of this project, which will be more important as we move on. Looking at the site, we look at how we can use water throughout this site and how we can vitalize this landscape from south to north.
When looking at the north of the project, we have a water collection basin. And with this basin, we thought of having an opportunity for celebration of water. And having this cultural element taking shape in the form of an abstract, traditional Navajo wedding basket. And having this opportunity to bring the water through our project to funnel and breathe life into these peach trees down below, which are existing, and having this orchard continue on, as you can see from the left side, and really feeling this lush landscape of traditional plants, which are used in different craft making for baskets, rugs, and different cultural activities. Growing up on the reservation, I was surrounded by these traditional structures, such as chasho.
Looking at these structures, we see from the interior you get this forested look that starts to play with light and shadow.
Going back home and paying attention to the land, we started to see what was drawing towards us. How can we then bring this culture and re-implement this back into our project to reflect the community?
Relating this back into the project to reflect the community, we looked at rebar that goes over our windows and creates this same notion of shading through this play with light and shadow, thus bringing this precedent back into the building that we are proposing. Looking at the west side of the building, and this would be facing Main Street, we look at this blue portal that you would walk through to get to the lobby. In section, you would see the lobby on your far left side that would then take you through the multi-use space and then over to the right side of your screen into the chapter house and then up a hallway that eventually will take you to the chamber room. We're going to take you on this journey now. Looking at the lobby, we see striated concrete that is the same material as the exterior walls that we're proposing on the outside, thus bringing the outside in and the inside out. We also see the community chapter seal, as well as the existing fireplace that is there, that we are proposing we revitalize and use. From here, we go to the multi-use space.
This space can be opened up to the outdoors into this courtyard, but this space also serves as a vital key in the surrounding community. We have this hosts different cultural workshops. These are where family events will happen, cultural celebrations, family celebrations. This is where those events will occur and be supported by the nearby commercial kitchen.
From here, we would go through the courtyard and then enter the chapter house. To the left side, you'll see the grand hall that will eventually take you to the chamber room. And to the far right side, you'll see windows that bring in the interior courtyard, thus bringing in that notion of oasis into our project more. At the center of the screen, you'll see these rugs and this cultural element, which my partner Nate came up with.
When looking at the Civic side, we know this side needs to stand strong and serve as a reflection of the community. And how can we then reflect that with cultural notions such as the traditional pattern of storm that is regional to Tuba City, and having that serve as a monument to really bring in the user into the space. When looking at the chapter house meeting room area, we make use of the existing stone masonry, but then looking to the left, we have this same brush notion, filter in light to the space and provide an ease of movement.
From here, we would look at the east-west section. So at the center of your screen would be the lobby that we just walked through, the existing gym to the right, and then we have the multi-use space at the center with the offices on the far left side of the screen. However, in between the multi-use space and the offices, we have an exterior courtyard that collects water and makes greenery in this space, and then light that can collect and push into this building, thus thinking and revitalizing this space in the notion of oasis.
When looking at how this oasis revives itself after a rainstorm, seeing how this water will then trickle through the space and provide a blissful notion of relaxation for the surrounding community, but also making use of this gesture being shown into the facade of the chapter house and this brush notion continuing on that landscape of oasis into the building. This courtyard here is the cultural element you've seen before. This is a main gathering space, but also serves as a place for chapter officials to make announcements or different dances and possible ceremonies, but having the space accompanied by the water collection basin to really breathe life into the project.
Looking at the overview of this project, we've covered a few things: the past, the present, the oasis, and the movement of water in this landscape. What we are proposing is architecture that breeds with this landscape and starts to vitalize into the landscape with water and architecture, thus intermingling with the land of tangled water. Thank you.
Yeah.